ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. Namaskar to all of you. Welcome to the study of the lives of household devotees of Sri Ramakrishna. We were looking into the life of one of the household disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, that is Devendranath Majumdar. We had seen in the last class that Devendranath had come to Dakshineshwar. So we will continue from there. In Dakshineshwar, when it was the lunch time, Sri Ramakrishna arranged the prasad, the lunch prasad. After lunch, Devendra rested a little and then visited the different temples. We know that Dakshineshwar is a complex of temples. There are 12 Shiva temples, one Radha Kanta temple, Mother Dakshineshwari's temple, all those things, so many. Bhavatarani, not Mother Dakshineshwari, Bhavatarani's temple, Mother Kali. So, like that, it is a complex of temples. So, he visited all the temples. When Devendra came back to see Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna noticed that Devendra was not feeling well, that Devendra did not look well. So, Sri Ramakrishna asked Devendra, "Why do you look so pale? Are you ill?" Now, Devendra had a relapse of his old malarial fever. Now, Sri Ramakrishna was extremely worried about Devendra. Just then, Babu Ram, the would-be Swami Premananda. Just then, Babu Ram, a young disciple, later Swami Premananda, arrived. The master asked him to accompany Devendra on the boat to Calcutta. As they were leaving, Sri Ramakrishna invited Devendra to come again when he felt better. When their boat reached the Bagbasar Ghat, Devendra told Bauram that he would be able to go home by himself. Bauram wanted to go with him and accompany him to his house, but Devendra refused to be helped anymore. So Baburam had to go back. Somehow, Devendra managed to reach a relative's house nearby where he fell unconscious. He fell down unconscious. For 41 days, he lay in a state of torpor and delirium. Often, in that unconscious state, he used to utter Sri Ramakrishna's name. Curiously, whenever extreme pain made him open his eyes, to his surprise, he could see Sri Ramakrishna sitting by his bed. So, though Ramakrishna was at Dakshineshwar, Devendra fell unconscious in one of his relatives' house in Calcutta. So, in that delirium or torpor, when the pain would increase, when he opened his eyes, he could see Sri Ramakrishna sitting by him. by his bed. When Devendra recovered from this illness, he started to be filled with the doubt. From the beginning, his nature was of the doubting nature, Samshayatma. So now, because of this disease, the old nature of doubting came back again. So, though he recovered from that malaria, relapse of malaria, Devendra was filled with doubt and he decided that the vision of Sri Ramakrishna, where Ramakrishna was guarding him while he was sick, he decided that was mere hallucination. As a consequence, his attraction of Sri Ramakrishna had left. It gradually diminished. Devendra started thinking to himself, a visit to a holy man is supposed to bring one peace and blessings and good luck. But what happened to me? It almost cost me my life. So he decided, I will salute him, but I don't want to go there again. See how doubts can deceive somebody. How he lost an opportunity of having the satsang of Sri Ramakrishna. So doubts can ruin our life. Now what happened? So he stopped going to Dakshineshwar. He decided, I don't want to go there again. As months passed, Devendra's desire to realize God abated, reduced somewhat. But it did not disappear altogether. Whenever the thought of visiting Dakshineshwar to meet Ramakrishna came into his mind, Devendra, with his doubting mind, would remember his terrible fever. So he would not go there. After a while, he decided to repeat the Gayatri Mantra, and this repeating of Gayatri Mantra kept him going. Then, one afternoon, after many months, he called on a friend. Not finding his time until friend's return, reading the Sulabh Samachar, a Brahma Samaj newspaper. In it, he saw the following announcement. And what was that? Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa will meet his devotees today at 5 p.m. at the house of Balaram Basu in Bagh Bazar. That was the news in that Sulabh Samachara of the Brahmo devotees. Now Devendra's heart leapt. All his doubting nature, all that reasons for not seeing Sri Ramakrishna vanished altogether. And he to Balram Babu's house to meet Sri Ramakrishna. At Balram Babu's house, which was crowded with people, Devendra saw Sri Ramakrishna dancing in ecstasy. Some people were dancing around him, while others were singing. Devendra watched it all but did not dare approach Sri Ramakrishna because he had stayed away so long. When the kirtan was over, Sri Ramakrishna stood motionless, deep in samadhi. Ramakrishna was immersed in samadhi, he stood there. Now the devotees gathered around him to take the dust of his feet. Devendra, seeing this as an opportunity to salute Sri Ramakrishna without being noticed, and after saluting, he wanted to go away without even informing Sri Ramakrishna. Now he pushed the way through the crowd and touched Sri Ramakrishna's feet. And much to his surprise, he felt a gentle tap on the back. and heard someone asking, "Hello, how are you? Why haven't you come to Dakshineshwar? I often think of you." So Sri Ramakrishna, though he was in deep samadhi, the moment he touched the feet, he opened his eyes. Sri Ramakrishna took care of him so much. He was constantly think of him. He would think of Devendra. So this should be noted by the devotees. Once you pray to Sri Ramakrishna and become his devotee, Sri Ramakrishna will be always be with you, taking care of you constantly. You notice that Devendra, when he was unconscious with malarial fever, whenever he used to wake up, open his eyes, and see Sri Ramakrishna would be sitting by his bedside, watching him and taking care of him. And even now, he wanted to go away without informing Sri Ramakrishna because even he was in deep samadhi. But to his surprise, and told, "Hello, how are you? Why haven't you come to Dakshineshwar? I often think of you." So he was an ordinary man, met Sri Ramakrishna just once or twice, but Sri Ramakrishna would always take care of his devotees. Not only then, even now, he'll be constantly thinking of the devotees. Just watch the words of Sri Ramakrishna. "Hello, how are you? Why haven't you come to Dakshineshwar?" If you don't go to him, Sri Ramakrishna will be always looking for us. He will be hurt that we have not gone to him. So he's asking Devendra, "Why haven't you come to Dakshineshwar?" And see these words. "I often think of you." So he was constantly thinking of Ramakrishna will be always thinking of us, our welfare. So when Sri Ramakrishna asked this, replied Devendra apologetically, "I was bedridden for a long time, so I couldn't visit you." Then Sri Ramakrishna said to him in a very sweet voice, "You must come again to Dakshineshwar, won't you?" Devendra's heart had been thoroughly melted by this time. Yes, sir, he said, "I will come." Don't this incident melt your heart? See the kripa, the kindness, the grace of Sri Ramakrishna for all of us. Through Devendra, he is inviting all of us in a very sweet voice. What is Sri Ramakrishna telling? You must come again to Dakshineshwar. That means we should think of him, we should go and pray to him, we have to go to the shrine or wherever, in front of his photo, talk to him, go to Sri Ramakrishna. You must come again to Dakshineshwar, won't you? Devendra's heart had been thoroughly melted by this time. He couldn't tell no. He told, "Yes, sir, I will come." Soon after this, Devendra began to visit Sri Ramakrishna regularly. He received spiritual instructions from Sri Ramakrishna and he started practicing spiritual disciplines under the direction of Sri Ramakrishna. Eventually, Devendra understood that Sri Ramakrishna was not an ordinary holy man. So, as he progressed forward in spiritual life, Devendra understood that Ramakrishna was not an ordinary holy man. A gracious glance from Sri Ramakrishna was enough to liberate any person. Mentally, Devendranath Majumdar accepted Sri Ramakrishna as his guru. One day, Master asked Devendra if Devendra was formally initiated, to which Devendra replied, "No, sir, but it is my heartfelt desire that you should give me a mantra, you should give me spiritual initiation." To which Sri Ramakrishna replied, "I don't give mantras," replied the master. Devendranath Majumdar was hurt by this answer, but he did not lose hope. Though, when Ramakrishna refused to give him the mantra, Devendra was very much hurt by that. But he did not lose hope. A few days later, on an auspicious day, Devendra came to Dakshineshwar with flowers and a garland, hoping that Sri Ramakrishna would initiate him. Pleased to see the flowers, Sri Ramakrishna told Devendra to offer them to the deities in the temple. To which Devendra said, "But sir, I bought this garland for you." Gravely, the master said to him, "Only gods and dandies accept flowers. Which do you think I am?" By now, truly exasperated, Devendra replied, "You must be in between the two." Just to please him, however, Sri Ramakrishna accepted a few flowers and then told him to take the rest to Divine Mother Kali's temple. Although Devendra did not receive a mantra, then he began to have visions of Sri Ramakrishna everywhere. So after that, he started having visions of Sri Ramakrishna wherever he went. Whichever place he saw, he could see Sri Ramakrishna. Even as Devendra walked along the streets, he felt that Sri Ramakrishna was with him all the time, watching over him. There is a saying by Sri Ramakrishna himself: when all of us sleep in the night, the Lord will be wide awake watching over us. He cannot sleep because he has to look after all of us. So, Ramakrishna constantly taking care of his devotees. Devendra started having visions of Sri Ramakrishna everywhere. Even as he walked along the streets, he felt that Sri Ramakrishna was with him all the time and watching over Devendra. As Devendra watched the young disciples of Sri Ramakrishna serving the Master, Devendra too wanted to render him some personal service. One day, Sri Ramakrishna noticed Devendra carrying his towel and water jug for him. Immediately, Sri Ramakrishna said to Devendra, "Oh no, why are you carrying these things to me? My relationship with you is different." But Devendra did not understand what Sri Ramakrishna meant. So Devendra started feeling, "Am I so lowly that I'm unfit even to carry a towel and water for Sri Ramakrishna?" He laid the things under the Panchavati tree and sat down while Sri Ramakrishna walked to the pine grove. Devendra began to Ramakrishna's words. Gradually, his thoughts turned into deep meditation, and with that thought, he lost outward consciousness and immersed in deep meditation. Devendra did not know how long he was in that state, but when he opened his eyes, Sri Ramakrishna was standing in front of him, smiling. Sri Ramakrishna said to him in a very sweet voice, "Look, you will not have to practice austerities. It will be enough if In the morning and evening, you chant the name of Hari while clapping your hands. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught this path, and one can attain perfection by chanting Lord Hari's name. Visit this place whenever possible. Your life will be fulfilled in this way. So Sri Ramakrishna blessed him, blessed Devendra in that way. Another day, Sri Ramakrishna said to Devendra, Devendra, you are visiting this place, meaning Sri Ramakrishna himself, frequently. What have you understood? Have you achieved anything? Devendra answered, no, sir. I don't know anything special, but I don't care to go anywhere else to know about God and religion. Moreover, I do not have that restlessness in my mind anymore. You have tried many things, no doubt, Sri Ramakrishna said to him. Then, entwining his fingers, Sri Ramakrishna continued, but they were not properly set. You know, every person has his own place. Devendra returned home greatly reassured by these words of Sri Ramakrishna. Now, Devendra resigned his job. As per the instructions of Sri Ramakrishna, he took up the spiritual practice of chanting Lord Hari's name. Night and day he repeated the mantra alone in his room. In that room, no one was allowed to enter. Outside the door, his wife kept a tray of food from which he ate when he was hungry. During this period, Devendranath Majumdar enjoyed many wonderful visions of gods and goddesses as he meditated. Once he saw a group of women in white cloths with marks on their foreheads standing before him. One after another, all those women with that white cloths bowed down to Devendra and left. Unable to understand the meaning of this vision, he went to Master and asked him about it. Sri Ramakrishna said, they, the women, were the companions of avidya. They were the companions of ignorance, avidya. They have left you. The avidya has left you. The nescience or ignorance has left you. The women were the companions of avidya, maya, that is ignorance. They have left you. Another day, Devendra felt that he had become separated from his own body and he was watching his own body. After some time, he thought that he was dead. This frightened him, but he soon grew normal again. As a result of his intense sadhana, Devendra experienced ecstatic moods. During this time, he was said to have become a big. During this time, Devendra was said to have become a bit unbalanced. How? He could not bear the touch of a worldly person, and he regarded his relatives as poisonous cobras, the poisonous snakes. The world seemed to him a dark, deep well. He was extremely happy when any of Sri Ramakrishna's disciples visited him. Only then he would be happy. He was not comfortable with his own relatives. But when they left, he felt unbearable pain. Sri Ramakrishna found out from the devotees about Devendra's condition, and Sri Ramakrishna prayed to the Divine Mother, Mother, please don't give him so many experiences. He's a family man, and several people depend upon him. Shortly after this, Devendra's mind became normal and he began to visit Sri Ramakrishna again. He then got another job and put his mind on his household duties. Before Devendra met the master, he had already known Ramachandra Datta, Narendra, later Swami Vivekananda, and Rakhal Swami Brahmananda, and other disciples. But now he became very close to them as well as to other disciples. Devendra himself brought several people to Sri Ramakrishna. One of these was a young man of Tagore Indranath Majumdar to visit Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar. Later on, this young man left home to become a mendicant. It was partly due to Devendra's urging that Girish Chandra Ghosh began to visit Sri Ramakrishna. Devendra also introduced his uncle Harishchandra Mustafi as well as Akshay Kumar Sen and several others to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna was the embodiment of purity and renunciation. His own life was a demonstration of how to overcome lust and greed. They are lust, intense desire, and greed. Devendra, but he wanted to witness himself. One day, while Sri Ramakrishna was visiting, in his room in Dakshineshwar, when Sri Ramakrishna returned shortly after and tried to sit on his bed, he found that he could not touch the bed. After trying several times, he looked at Devendra and said, Devendra, what is the matter? Why can't I sit on the bed? Embarrassed, Devendra confessed to Sri Ramakrishna what he had done and took back his coin. Sri Ramakrishna said with a smile, Oh, you are testing me. You can test me. So it was not only Narendra who tested Ramakrishna by keeping the coin under his bed, it was also Devendra. He too had tested Sri Ramakrishna and see the way Sri Ramakrishna is accepting all those tests so comfortably. He's not feeling anything bad. Sri Ramakrishna said with a smile, Oh, Devendra, you're testing me. Very well, very well. On another occasion, Devendra visited Dakshineshwar, and in the course of conversation, Sri Ramakrishna said to him, You see, I am thinking deeply of a woman whom I have not seen for a long time. This immediately created a doubt. He was a man of doubt in Devendra's mind. Then the master told his nephew Ramlal to give Devendra some rasagulla, sweet cheese balls, saying that they had been sent to him by the woman. Devendra's doubt deepened as he ate the rasgullas. After a while, Sri Ramakrishna wished to go to Jadu Malik's house in Calcutta to see that woman. Not only asked Devendra to lend him a rupee for the carriage fare, but invited him to come along. Devendra readily asserted. Young Latu Swami Adbhutananda went with them. As they rode in the carriage, Sri Ramakrishna saluted temples, mosques, and the women in the street, and even a tavern. To the master, all women were forms of Divine Mother, And again, it was she who gave joy to the barroom drinkers. Tapping Devendranath's knee, Sri Ramakrishna said, "Look, I don't disturb anyone's faith." As soon as the carriage reached Jadu Malik's house, Sri Ramakrishna went directly to the women's section by himself. This strengthened the doubt in Devendra's mind still more. A little while later, Devendra and Latu were invited into women's section for some refreshment. Then Devendra saw an old lady seated on a carpet in front of Sri Ramakrishna, who was eating a plate full of assorted sweets. The master was behaving just like a 5-year-old boy. Devendra realized that this woman had a motherly attitude towards Sri Ramakrishna, as Mother Yashoda had for her baby Krishna, Gopala. The old lady said to Sri Ramakrishna, "My son, many years ago, I read in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita about how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother used to feed her son. Since then, I would think that if I could be Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother, I could have fed him. What great fortune I have today, my son. I never dreamt or I never dreamed that you would come today and fulfill my cherished desire." Saying this, that old woman wept as she fed Sri Ramakrishna with her own hands. So this cleared off all the doubts of Devendra. The master was all knowing, and he took this means to remove the doubt in Devendra's mind. You know, Swami Vivekananda has written a Sanskrit song on Sri Ramakrishna, Shakti Samudra Samuthatarangam. In that, Swami Vivekananda writes about Sri Ramakrishna. In this age, the avatara has come down with Samshaya Rakshasa Nasha Mahastram. Samshaya is doubt. You see, all of us have doubts. We don't have faith at all. The opposite of faith is doubt. We are always doubting. We don't believe. Don't have faith in anybody, anything. So, in this avatara, Sri Ramakrishna has come with the weapon of Samshaya Rakshasa. Vivekananda compares Samshaya or doubt to a Rakshasa, Asura, demon. Samshaya Rakshasa Nasha Mahastram. So Sri Ramakrishna has come with this wonderful weapon called Samshaya Rakshasa Nasha Mahastram, the destruction of doubt. So that is the weapon which Sri Ramakrishna is carrying in this avatar. No other weapon. So Swami Vivekananda writes, Samshaya Rakshasa Nasha Mahastram. So now we can see the master was all-knowing, and he took this all-knowing Sarvagnatva. This means to remove the doubt in Devendra's mind. So we can also notice he is gradually removing all the doubts in our mind too, and creating a sense of faith in us. But Devendra was conscience stricken because he had doubted Sri Ramakrishna himself. Later, he learned that old lady was none other than Jadu Malik's mother. As part of Devendra's job, sometimes Devendra had to go to the court to supervise litigations. On those days, he followed the customs of wearing Western clothes to the courtroom. Once coming back by boat, From the Hooghly court, Devendra stopped at Dakshineshwar. But because he knew that Sri Ramakrishna could not bear worldly things such as the legal documents and newspapers he was carrying, Devendra greeted Sri Ramakrishna from the veranda itself. When Sri Ramakrishna asked him to come inside, Devendra told Sri Ramakrishna that whatever he was carrying, so Sri Ramakrishna replied, "It does not matter. It will not do any harm to you. Please come in." The compassionate master saw the longing in Devendra's heart and disregarded everything else. Now you can note Sri Ramakrishna saying, what is the difference between a human being and God? Human being, if you do 100 good things to the man or woman and you do one small mistake, the human being or the man will catch hold of that one single simple mistake and he will criticize us, he will scold us, he will punish us. So it's the tendency of the human being to forget all the good things that person has committed. But on the contrary, Sri Ramakrishna tells that, and what is the difference between man and God? If you do hundreds of mistakes, and if you have one little quality, small quality, if you do little good, the Lord only sees that good. He forgets all the bad things committed by us. He only catches hold of that good things in us and lifts us up. So that is what Sri Ramakrishna tells. That is the difference between God and man. So that is the same. God gives and forgives. Man gets and forgets. So here we can see Sri Ramakrishna saw that intensity or that eagerness of Devendra to come to Dakshineshwar and meet him and go forward in spiritual life, that idea, that desire to realize God, that was enough. All the other mistakes, all the other drawbacks, whatever rules and regulations Ramakrishna himself did, that he would not touch the newspaper, he would not entertain the worldly things, he forgave, he forgot about all those things because just he had this small quality, that is eagerness to visit Dakshineshwar and realize God. So all the other mistakes were secondary. So what did Sri Ramakrishna tell? Sri Ramakrishna asked him to come inside. Devendra told he was carrying so many worldly things. He did not come inside. Ramakrishna said, "It will not do any harm to you. Please come in." The compassionate master saw the longing in Devendra's heart and disregarded everything else. You might have noticed in Mahabharata war, Kurukshetra war, to keep up the promise of his devotee Bhishmacharya, he broke his own promise. He was ready to get the bad name of breaking his promise, but the Lord always wants to keep the promise of the devotees. And what was that? Bhishmacharya. Krishna had vowed before the war that he will not use any weapon, catch hold of any weapon in the war. He will be always weaponless. He will participate in the war, not killing anybody or using any weapon. That was the condition, that was the vow which Krishna had taken. But the devotee, the great Bhishmacharya, he vowed And what was his promise? That he will make Krishna to catch hold of the weapon. Now, Krishna could have kept up his promise and broken the promise of Bhishma, but just to see if Bhishma Acharya's promise is devotee, took up the arms and broke his own promise. Likewise, you can see in Sri Ramakrishna too. All the other things were secondary when compared to the good things which we have. So Sri Ramakrishna always looks at one small good thing to lift us up. Another time when Devendra was going by boat to Dakshineshwar with some mihidana, a sweet for Sri Ramakrishna. He was carrying a sweet mihidana to Sri Ramakrishna. He sat in front of a Mohammedan who was a great talker, chit-chatting always. Devendranath noticed that as the man talked, his spittle flew in all directions. He could not tell whether any of it fell on his package of sweets. But if the package had been defiled in this way, he thought he ought to throw it into the Ganga, otherwise, he would be greatly embarrassed in front of other devotees if Sri Ramakrishna was unable to touch it. By the time Devendra landed at Dakshineshwar, he had a change of heart. What did he do? Sprinkling a little Ganga water on the package, he took it to Sri Ramakrishna's empty room and put it in the corner on a shelf. He didn't tell anybody. When the master came back to his room, he was hungry and began to look for something to eat. When he found the warm mihidana on the shelf, he ate some of it and distributed the rest to the devotees. Devendra was moved by Sri Ramakrishna's grace. Now Devendra left the room with great joy, weeping with joy, and told the story to all the devotees there. How graceful Sri Ramakrishna was. He even disregarded the fact that the spittle of that Mohammedan or the Muslim person had fallen on that sweet box. He not only took that prasad, but also distributed it to other devotees too. So Devendra was spellbound and also overjoyed with the grace of Sri Ramakrishna. He left the room weeping with joy and he went on proclaiming it to every devotee. He started telling that story to all the devotees. Devendra and Girish Chandra Ghosh were friends and had known each other long before either met Sri Ramakrishna. Once, Sri Ramakrishna went to see one of Girish Chandra Ghosh's play at the Star Theatre, where Girish had arranged a special seat for him. Devendra and Lato accompanied the master. After the performance in the theatre, Girish, who was drunk heavily, humiliated Sri Ramakrishna using very abusive language. Lato became furious. He became furious when his guru, his Ishtadevata, Sri Ramakrishna, was scolded or humiliated by Girish. Now, Lato was so furious, he was about to hit Girish. But Devendranath Majumdar stopped Lato. The next day, Devendra went to Girish's house and said to him, "When you drink, you lose control of yourself and you talk nonsense. You should go to Dakshineshwar and apologize to Sri Ramakrishna." But Girish replied, "No, I shall not go to Dakshineshwar and I shall not apologize either. Whatever qualities The Lord, that is Ramakrishna, gave to me. I offered it back to him. I have been fasting and crying all the day for Sri Ramakrishna. Doesn't he know all about this? If Sri Ramakrishna is an avatar, doesn't he realize I'm suffering for what I did? I will not go there. He will have to come here. Otherwise, I shall not eat any food. I shall starve to death. It was raining. Girish Chandra Ghosh was starving and crying. He was fasting. He was not taking any food. He is telling that he will starve to death if Sri Ramakrishna doesn't come. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Sri Ramakrishna arrived at Girish Chandra Ghosh's house with Ramachandra Datta. Girish Chandra Ghosh felt so happy. He fell at Sri Ramakrishna's feet, and Sri Ramakrishna blessed him. So you can see how gracious, how he loves the devotees in spite of all their mistakes. Sri Ramakrishna just pours out grace and grace and grace alone, nothing else. He doesn't know anything. He's always watching us. He's always by the side of his devotees, looking after them, just pouring grace and grace on them. So let us approach Sri Ramakrishna. Let us always be in Sri Ramakrishna and feel the compassion. Feel how Sri Ramakrishna is looking after us constantly, who is staying with us. And that will gradually bring in faith in us, that will help us to go forward quickly in spiritual life. With these wonderful incidences where it gives so much of faith, so much of joy about how Sri Ramakrishna is always looking after his devotees. So we will stop our discussion here, because if we go any forward, it may change our mood. We are in a very high mood of thinking of the grace of Sri Ramakrishna compassion, how he is always keeping watch over us, how he is so graceful, so compassionate to us. So let us enjoy this mode and be in that mode until we meet again in the next session. So we should be meeting on the Leela Dhyan, the different aspects of Sri Ramakrishna's life where he's showing so much of grace to his devotees. So we will end our conversation with the prayer. Om Priyatam Pundarikakshah Sarvayagneshwaro Harihi Tasmin Tushte Jagattushtam Prenite Prenitam Jagat Harihi Om Tatsat Sri Ramakrishnaarpanamastu. Namaskar to all of you. Om Namo Narayanaya. Revered Srimad Swami Gautamanandaji Maharaj has arrived to Bangalore Ashrama in Basavanagudi, where I am now presently in. So Maharaj arrived today in the morning. He will be giving Mantra Diksha, spiritual initiation, to many devotees, more than 50. Day after tomorrow, and also the next day, 2 days, then he will be going to another center, Alsur Ramakrishna Math, where he will be giving spiritual initiation. Then he will be again going to another place called Shivanahalli, a mission activity where service is rendered to the village people there, which is in that village is in the midst of the forest, National Reserve Forest. So there, the ashrama has constructed a CBSE school, a special building to run the CBSE school, and Maharaj will be going there to inaugurate that school building, and also he'll be giving spiritual initiation there. During that inauguration, I have to go there with Maharaj to conduct bhajans. So I will convey the pranams of all the devotees of South Africa to revered Maharaj and get his blessings to all. And again, if possible, I'll try to convey that to all of you. So, thank you. Namaste. Om Namo Narayana.